Okay. Let me start here. Is there anybody that has any questions first before we start? There was some. If you do, there's a little chat button down here that you guys can use to ask me anything you want at any time you want. Just give me one more second, guys. I can make sure everybody knows this is on right now. Sorry, one more second. What we're going to do is just look at, we are going to review the sale of mortgage protection. It'll also be for final expense too, but it's also going to teach you how to get the money out of people, or I should say find the money. Well, yeah, get it out of them too, I guess is a good way to put it. Because at the end of the day, people just don't want to, they don't want you prying. So I think what I'm teaching you guys is how to get the information out of people without looking like you're being so personable about their money. Because you know as well as I do, I'm not this guy. Like somebody asked me what I make, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But some people are like, so what do you make a year? You know? And there's a certain way that I want you to ask that. And there's certain ways that I want you to ask about Social Security, and certain ways I want you to ask about the 401ks or the stock-based products that'll be annuitized. Why? Because there's no downsides to the market. It only participates in the upsides, Mr. Jones, and it gains about 8.6. All of you write down the word Athene, A-T-H-E-N-E. That word's important because that annuity is striking. It is very, very high interest rates on that annuity product that you can illustrate for people right in front of their eyes. And the other ones that we'll go over are like Equitrust and Fidelities. It's the only three I use, guys, to be honest with you. I'm trying to find, is anybody with John Trice's group? Is John on here, by the way? Okay. If anybody knows John Trice's team too, can we have all emails and texts sent out to people that may not be on here? Noting, is Jerome on here? I don't see Jerome too. If you could let him know that this is on too, that would help me, guys, so much. That it would be so helpful.
Okay.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. For the people that are on here, God bless you. For those that aren't, it's kind of like I think people get frustrated about this. It's a Saturday morning. The sacrifices you're making, though, I promise you, next week, if your lead flow's right, will change your life. It will change your life. It's the strategies that I've reviewed, and I'm a smart guy. I've been selling stuff since I've been, hell, I don't know, 5 years old maybe, but from the age of 15, I started Ferrero's deck and window cleaning. And I started with flyers, and it blew up. My business blew up. By age 21, I sold that, did another company, and so on. I never stopped from there. But what I think people are lacking, though, is couple things. One, this stuff here that I have, which is also coming down to a mortgage protection planner. So this thing here, I'm going to teach you guys how to use this, and I'm going to pull this whiteboard out too. Importance, the inheritance of the living partner. That means what's left behind for the other individual. See, we're all talking about two people in this situation. I narrow it down to what's left behind for one person. And when I narrow it down to one person, it's able to put them in a position to understand that them two aren't going to be forever. So they better plan for when the other individual's income is no longer there. That's the important side of this that I get into. when the other individual's income is no longer there. Last week, man, can you go over anything that was important from last week? Yeah. Good morning, Noah and John. Good morning, everyone. Noah and John. Got it. And if you guys can get anybody else on this, let them know it's on. I'm just going to get into this with you guys. Thanks for helping me out with that. Okay, so this here, step number one. Pull this, and believe me, guys, let me tell you something right now. I use this when I go into the home. Okay, that's it. Nothing else is in front of me. Not one single piece of life insurance or anything. These are the two items I used to develop this. So finally, with requests from everybody, I put this thing together for you. So I know it's going to be hard to read, but I'll get this over to everybody. So it says at the top, mortgage protection financial planner. It says the name of the individuals, both name and age, and then inheritance of the other living partner, which is Social Security on each side. How do I ask that? Let's go over that. I walk in, I'm at the door. I knock at the door. Boom, boom, boom. Hey, Mrs. Jones, I'm Jason. I'm here for the mortgage protection information. I brought this information. I put it together. How are you doing today? Okay, great. You know what? Can we go to that table right over there? I got some things I want to lay out for you. Is that okay? Great. Put your stuff down. Don't be nervous. Don't act like you have to rush. You're the doctor's office. Okay? That's what I want you to think like. You become the doctor's office. It's their time to wait for you now. You get in front of them, you sit down in your bag, you pull that information out. These are the two things you're going to pull out. Now, inside your phone has every app that you need to pull numbers together. However, if you have a computer and you're using other illustrations, you can use that. If you don't, then you need to bring illustrations with you, and I'm going to show you how to do that too. So I have these two items. Sit down. These words have to be said, or you won't get respect. I'm going to treat this just like you walked into my office over in the Villages. It's right down the road. It's in your home. Just tell them that address. And the reason being I want to do this is I want to be thorough and go over a few things that I don't want you to miss, because we're talking about what, 20, 30 years from now, all this stuff going down. So if we could, let's be pretty thorough about it, and let's get the information out to you. That way you have all the details you need and never have to worry about this again. And lucky me, I become your life insurance rep. How's that sound? That sounds good, doesn't it? How's that sound? It sounds good, doesn't it? And get your head nodding, man. Okay, get that sucker bobbing up and down so their reaction is the same. If not looking at you, fine. Do it for practice. I'm at the table. Say, okay, let me go over a couple of things. I'm going to just do this like I would if I was in the house. All right. Mrs. Jones, you are, your name is Carol. You're confirmed to be age 62, closest age, 62. And you guys understand what closest age means is I need to know next age if they're closer to 62 or 63. She's closer to 62. Hey, Mr. Jones, you're John, and you are also 62. Great. Hey, guys, I need to go over a couple things here. If, God forbid, one of you two were to pass away, who would be the two of the higher Social Securities? Kind of look, they might be stumped like deer in headlights, or they may just react instantly. Most of them react instantly and go to thinking. So let's say Carol is $2,000 a month, and John is $1,000 a month, which could be close to what you see out there. It could be less too, but sometimes it's a hell of a lot higher, so be prepared. It could be higher. especially if you walk with anybody that's in the military and they've done more than 20 years, you can almost bet your rear end that the end result on this is going to be very high. Okay, so we have the two of you you're bringing in about $3,000 a month. What's the mortgage monthly? So on this sheet, I have to teach you guys how to do this. I think I'm going to have to write step by step on another sheet. So from up here asking the Social Security, I'm shooting down to this part now. So I'm going to get away from asking any stock-based questions that are very personable, pensions, investment, and even cash. I'm getting away from that because I'm going to go down here and I'm start build rapport now. You can build rapport while you're doing this too. It's not, you don't have to sit around with your leg crossed and looking around the room trying to find pictures on the wall to talk about. You know, you can move through this a little faster. Hey, by the way, I went to a basketball game last night. Either one of you have ever been to a basketball game? No. Oh man, I tell you what, it's fabulous. You might want to check one out, you know, maybe call it a date night or something, you know. I throw the windows of building rapport in instead of sitting there, you know, like I said, looking for pictures. The mortgage monthly. Okay, because I'm here for mortgage protection, by the way, okay? This will also follow for final expense also, so trust me on this. The mortgage monthly is $1,000. I'm going to keep these numbers even. So what on my sheet, too, it'll tell me what they owe. Trying to find a mortgage protection need that I can show you. If you haven't seen one, maybe everybody's seen one. I'm hoping that's the case, but all right. I can't seem to find one. Long story short, mortgage owed. Let's say that they have, now you run into refinancing too, remember. Did you guys refinance or did you just buy this? Most of the time you'll be able to tell they bought it because there's stuff all over the place still. You can't even sit down in some of them. There's no chairs. So be prepared for anything. They owe $100,000 on the home. Actually, let's put that up. Let's make it 200 grand because most homes you're going to walk to are about 200. Hey, do you guys actually know, do you know the appraisal on the home? What the house may be able to sell for, God forbid, if you had to sell it? You know what? You'd be able to get out of it. The appraisal is different than the number that they owe. Most people are trying to make money on a home when they walk into the place. So let's hypothetically say that the appraisal on the home is $225,000. You'd be like, that's a fantastic job on that. Now we know that there's $25,000 that can be left behind in an emergency situation. So if Mr. Jones passed away, Carol loses that 1,000. Instantly, they have this 25 to help them move on if they flip it fast. So difference between the two. Mathematically, what is the difference between the two, meaning mortgage owed and appraisal? That we know that that's $25,000. Now, the equity in the home. If they plan on putting money into this home, it's going to be like whatever they decide to tell you. Maybe they're putting $5 grand into a bathroom or something. So you could jump that number up and say that this house could be worth, so far, let's just say it's worth $25,000. So down here, to review, I have mortgage monthly, $1,000. Mortgage owed, 200 grand. The appraisal on the home is $225,000. The difference between the two is $25,000. The equity in the home so far is $25,000. Now, if it's a 15-year mortgage, you know if they owe that every 15 years the equity goes up. Every 7.5 years it goes up about $50,000 at this home. Okay, so you know that the equity is going up. In 7.5 years, it should be about $75,000. If they owe for 30-year mortgage, 7, yeah, that's right. It's close to right, ain't it? 6.5 years. $75,000. That's also good to teach them, is to say, hey, remember, you're making payments on this house, things like that. Now, I built rapport. to a point where I could start asking better questions. So what I'm going to do here today is I'm going to look over some ideas for you guys that will help you due to disability, car accident, things like that, death, heart attack, illness, chronic illness, critical injury, and due to the death part too. And I know that you guys wanted to cover the house, but I'm going to show you 3 options basically that people are choosing. One will be taking care of the whole entire problem, which would be the debt on the home. That way it becomes, that's one less item that's on your bill marker. And we have to remember something, Mr. and Mrs. Jones. The line that I'm drawing here is the inflation line. So I think Mr. and Mrs. Jones, or I'm sorry, I can call them Carol and John. Carol and John is where I failed in the past, and I've been doing this for about 15 years. Where I failed in the past was I didn't teach the first couple clients that I had about inflation. And I feel badly about that, but now I have it. I understand this market a little better. But what I'm trying to teach here is the inflation line, because if we take the average inflation of 4%, we go 10 years, that's 40% more on gas, cars, living expenses, food, for God's sakes. And you guys have to understand that the replacement, and I promise all of you too, by the way, that when you add their 2 numbers up of what they both bring in, so far all we know is that they bring in $3,000 a month. We don't know the rest. So I know you guys have about $3,000 a month coming in because we're not prying yet. You understand? We're not asking personal questions that is asking about investments, pensions, investments, cash. People are going to look at you because, God damn, they want that number out of you. You know what I mean? Yeah, hey, kid, what's it cost? And for how much am I getting? That's the number. The reality is that they want it fast. You can get them involved in learning something, though, and educate them and coach them through it. It will be all yours. Hey, do me a favor, guys. Mute yourself out. That would help me out. I have the inflation line built, guys, and here's the line here that's the issue, Miss Carol. That your income is about level. Now, sometimes they may, at this point, tell me, we also have a pension and a 401k. So I'm going to put in this case that there's no 401k. We'll put a 0 on both of those. At this point, by the way, Carol, do you have a pension or a 401k? Did you see that? Almost like I'm confused. Hey, Carol, by the way, do you have a 401k? I'm going to need somebody to mute out, please. I don't know who it is. Everybody can check their mute button. It'd be great, man. Hey, Carl, how you doing, buddy? Can you check your mute button? And Janice, too? If it's all good in the hood, we're good to go. Okay, thanks. Hey, by the way, anybody that just got on this, not to brag, I do 5, 10,000. I make a decision on how much I make, by the way. I did 27,000 last week, and that was by Wednesday. And I'm trying to show you guys how I do that. How do I sell 2 to 4 annuities every month for 3 years straight now? And that's not a lie. That's factual proof. Now, they're not high numbers. However, they are they're high numbers for me anyway, for now. What I mean by that is I haven't touched anybody with a $10 million. You know what I mean? It's 100 grand here, 200, $500,000 sometimes. But you're not going to say no to that money. And I'm going to teach you how to not leave any money on the damn table, because that's what so many people do, is walk away with so much left on the table. And you didn't really help anybody. And you didn't become an advisor or a coach by leaving that money there. Whether you do it in part 1 or part 2. Part 2 would mean the delivery of the policy. So we have this line. We have the 4% interest line. If anybody new got on this is an illustration sheet to find out how much people have coming in compared to what they have going out. And I'm going to get this to everybody. It's very important to do it this way. Now, what we're trying to figure out is the way to illustrate this to people where it doesn't look like you're prying. It's in the language. It's in how you ask, and it's in the order that you ask. I promise you, I've practiced this many times. So we have a level income of $3,000. Carol, you got a pension? Yeah, I have a pension. It's a little one. It's only $500 a month. How about John? You have a pension too, right? Yeah. Okay, mine's about $2,000 a month. All right, this is good. This is great. There's more money coming in because when you get to the part where it's going out, you're going to figure out that more money was necessary. So now what do we have, guys? We have an extra $2,500. We have $5,500 coming in. You guys got that $5,500 coming in, right? Okay, great, wonderful. No investments. Is there, I don't want to even ask, here, look. I can ask for investments, which are basically stock-based products or 401k, but I don't want to ask about cash yet. That's too personal still, okay? So, hey, one more time, this has the mortgage on it. So to start over, to review, I don't want to ask about, I'm going to ask about life insurance too. So I'm going to get you to get life insurance on the table that can be taken off the table. Most of my larger sales are by taking life insurance that they already have off the table and replacing it with new stuff. Why? Because there's cash value built up. Who do you know that doesn't have bills? They might not even realize. I helped a woman and her husband the other day. Their policies just got approved. Get the same amount of life insurance, and sometimes I get less, to be honest with you, because maybe it's term or something. But at the end of the day, I got a same amount of life insurance. I'm sorry, for more money, for more premium than they were used to paying. But I'm talking like $100 more a month each, because their cash value in all their policies, they had like 8 policies, had $23,000 in it. They have a debt of credit cards of $21,000. So I used that against them to get those policies replaced and get the cash value sent to their home. These sales may take you 1, 2, 3 hours sometimes, but the premiums are larger. So you don't need to run around the streets looking for more clients. Now, I'm going to move into part 2. Again, Mr. Jones, I know which the mortgage monthly is. Mortgage monthly is $1,000. Okay, hey, by the way, do you guys have life insurance on you? Okay, great. I could say yes or no to teach you guys. For this particular illustration, I'm just going to say yes. I'll tell you why, because most people do. And I applaud the fact that people do have life insurance. That's fantastic to know. They believe in it. They have it. Now, is that whole life or term? That's whole life. Do you know about how much is that leaving behind for Carol? If God forbid something happens to you, what's that leave Carol? I have a $10,000 policy. So over here somewhere, I should have wrote policies, but Carol will be left. John has a $10,000 policy. Just write this here for now, and I'll fix this up as we go. And I just put life here. Carol, do you have anything for Johnny here? No, I don't. So she has 0 life insurance. That's good too. That they don't have. One believes, one doesn't. That's on an unfair playing field is what they call that. For Christ's sake, he's being left with nothing in that case. So, hey, guys, do you know what? And guys, know your territory too. I'll tell you why. Because when you review this stuff, you need to know what the cost of things may be in an area that somebody may move in. This is discussing mortgage protection, by the way, but then it's going to also pertain to final expense. So I have the electric bill is about what over these parts? See, that's not saying, what's the electric bill? Do you understand what I'm doing? Is I'm saying it a certain way that's allowing them not to feel that they have to feel like I'm prying. You know what I mean? About what is the electric bill cost in this area, by the way? Ours is about $150 a month. Now I'm in Florida too, guys, by the way, and I come from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, but you know, sometimes that stuff can be higher up north, larger homes, whatever, and there's gas. So does this place come with gas? 9 times out of 10 where I live, it's all electric. You guys up north have gas, you know what I mean? So the gas bill could be, on average, that could be a crippler. You know, that could be on average, what? If you take the winter months and average it out, I'm just going to say it's $100 a month, which is probably a hell of a lot higher than that. Is anybody left? Now it says car payment on here, okay? But here's how you have to ask it. Is anybody going to be left behind with a car payment? God forbid, John, that you passed away. Would Carol have to pay the car? I didn't say what's the car payment, guys. You got to get that right. You understand? I said, John. It's John and Carol we're working with. John, if God forbid something happened to you, would Carol have to still make the car payments? Is there a car note on it? Yeah, that's $500 a month. Are there one or two cars? Just one. Car insurance, then she would have to continue to pay, right? Yeah, you know, she has to continue to pay that. So that's about $100 a month. It says car insurance. Again, there's a certain way that I asked it. Pets, any pets? No, $50 a month to $100 a month for pets, by the way. Since you don't know, now you know. Food at home, on average, $50 to $100 a week. Do the math. Because I want you to help them. Guys, I'm asking them a question and they're not prepared for, so I want to keep this flowing too. So do not ask, what is the food bill, and sit back and wait. Because they're going to, you know, it's time you're making them go through. So say, on average, is the weekly food bill about $50 to $100, Carol? You'll get it much faster, okay? Trust me on this. So let's say it's on average about $100, which is you're going for the monthly, by the way, so $400. Eating out. You guys eat out a lot. You know, I want to know if the other one's going to still eat out. Carol, would you still eat out? If God forbid John wasn't here no more? No, I eat at home. Okay, let's just say they eat at home. Is there any lawn care? I take care of it. Great. There's gas in the mower. Now you know there's gas in the mower. Health care. Do you guys pay for health care? Yes, we do. We got to pay about $200. Are there grandkids or kids that you give money to? No. Tithe and charity. Anybody tithing and give to charity? Yes, we give $20 a week to our church, which is $80 a month. Yeah, gas and car weekly. You guys spend about $20 each on gas. Yeah, we spend about $20 a week. So that is $80 there too. Real quickly, just hang in there with me, guys. I got the cable bill. That's usually a large one. That's $150. The internet, phone could go with that. So I have the internet and phone also listed. And here's another big one. Cell phone, $100 a month. Extra cash for spending. I'm going to tell you what this means. This means miscellaneous cash in each one of your pockets. When you stop at a 7-Eleven or something like that and you get out to get a coffee or Red Bull, that I'm definitely to be blamed for. You are spending, what, $4 a day? You know what I mean? So on average, I'll give the extra $100 to each individual, and just keep that one silent to yourself, though, because I don't want them to see that they overspend. But here's the numbers that you're going to bring up. If anybody tells you they don't have the money, say bullshit. You don't want to say bullshit, but in your mind, you're saying bullshit. Because you know that they have it due to the fact that the extra cash they spend. So each one of you gets about $100 extra a month. Would you say just for extra cash spending it any way you see coffee? We don't drink coffee, cigarettes. I don't smoke. You know, whatever it may be. Okay, just find one. Savings. Hey, John and Carol, do you guys save money monthly? By the way, is there a habit that you're in that saves? Yeah, we try to put $200 a month away. Now, so far, I found some numbers here. Food weekly, they could bring down if they really tried. But the rest of the stuff, they're not going to do. They're not going to stop anything else, really. So the two numbers that I have to work with that I know is there, once I get to the last number, and I know what's coming in compared to what's going out, okay? I know that there's $200 and $100 that they have extra for this investment. So instead of using the savings account as an investment, they're going to use the life insurance as an investment. That's how you're going to explain it if it comes down to that part. So what do we have coming in? We have $5,500 coming in. Heather, you on here, bud? I need somebody to help me do the math on this, man. Hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. Also, I want to say hello to everybody. My name is Jason. I am a life insurance and annuity sales coach, along with one of the top reps at the company, and I am here to educate you on how I do these numbers, period, across the board. Sometimes there's other companies on this thing. So, you know, if you guys help this habit happen and you guys see a name on here, send this out to Facebook. Get on my Facebook, get on social media, send this out, and get some people extra on here that would have never came on board without your help. So they usually come from other companies. Heather, are you on here, babe? Please, you here? I want to show you guys something here.
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm gonna help. If you could help me do some math, that'd be great. So, see the numbers, guys? Can you see that? See Alyssa Gallagher? That's my wife. That's last week. That's actually that was that last week? No, it wasn't last week. It was the week before. I'm sorry. Last week, I really didn't do much besides recruiting and training. The rest of these guys, as you can see, still have some decent numbers up. So the stuff, you know, it works, guys. Heather, I have $5,500. Do you have the ability to do some math for me real quick? I have no calculator here whatsoever.
Yeah.
Okay, I need you to add these up. Can you see them?
Hold on.
Or I could tell you.
Yeah, tell me, because it looks little.
All right, 1,000, 150, 100, 500, 100, 400, 200, 80, 150, 100, 100, and 200. Remember, 300 of this is extra.
3,160.
All right, minus 5,500.
2,340. Negative 2,340.
2,330 or 40.
Yeah, 40.
All right, guys, look, that's the number that's left over, man. Okay, so here's what I know, is that number's not real. I need you to cross that number out and say, Mr. Jones, does it look like that you have about this left over a month? And they're usually going to say no. Slash that number in half and just tell them this. Say, do you have on average about $500 to $1,000 a month left over? Would that be your reality? Yeah, that looks close. I'm telling you, there's numbers that are missing in here. There's costs of visas. There's things that were missing. So I know to slash that number in half. Go to $500, $1,000. At the end of the day, that's what I got to work with. That's a process there. That is it. And then for me, I don't know who you guys are going to be working with. I hope it's the companies I'm working with, which will be LSW is a big one for me. It is. It's huge for me. I teach people how to overfund it, to make money. I show them the cash values. There's also ways, if you didn't know, that LSW has a way to, let's say you want to get somebody $100,000. They don't pay you for this though. So the premium is $200 a month for $100,000. The company will actually add on $50,000. So they're actually paying for $50,000 and the company gives 50 grand. It doesn't earn in the higher interest rates though. It still comes with living benefits, and you guys need to see this product. It's unbelievable. Now, product number 2 does participate in the upsides of the market and downsides, averaging about 7% interest on their cash value. And that's what I show them up front. I say, you know what, I put together a product for you that will enhance your ability to save money. It also has the death benefit built into it, and then it also comes with living benefits. So LSW has a living benefit chart, booklet that I'll open up to. So it means this, Mr. Jones. If God forbid something, let's say it's $100,000 of life insurance that you want, okay, just for a hypothetical, that you would receive 95% of that if you were 24 months to live, chronic illness, critical injury, Am I missing anything? And I believe Mutual of Omaha has. So these are the first two that I go at, guys, is the two larger ones I go for, is in between LSW and Mutual of Omaha. Mutual of Omaha's GUL will allow somebody through easier than LSW. They have to be fairly healthy, man. If they start pulling shoeboxes of medication out, forget about it, okay? It's not going to work unless it's vitamins. So we have $100,000 here that they're trying to get. We show them the cash value illustration. Now, you'd have to do that on your computer right in front of them, or do like we do for now, which is our laptop was taken by another rep in Pittsburgh, so we have to buy a new one. And we're kind of new before, so we're paying all these bills up and getting caught up. I think after next week I'll be able to do this. But long story short, I do the illustration right from here. This is a printer. The illustration's done before I get to the home. I have them printed out. How many do I do? 3 on each. It's a lot of paperwork, guys. But here's the bottom line. What I'm trying to show is cash value. Why not present cash value when you're selling anything? Like, why would you miss that part to show them that it's also an investment opportunity, okay? So don't miss that anymore if you are. The cash value, show them any benefits it comes with. What do people want to buy? They don't want to buy you. Everybody thinks they want to buy you. They're buying a product. You go buy a car, you're not buying a car salesman. You want to buy that car, man. You want to know what it comes with. Leather interior, stereo system, drop top, 8 cylinders. Mine's a Hemi, Challenger. All you have to say is that. All us guys go, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So maybe some of you ladies too. At the end of the day, I know that the cash value is going to be high. You show that. You say hypothetically, and I'll flip through the pages, just a hypothetical. If you were to live to like, what's the average age people live to? 85, 95. I want you to take a look at the cash value, because in the cash value sheet, as long as the market participates well, and it has, if you look at the past, that their cash value will take the $100,000 above the $100,000 mark too, if the time allows or the premium allows. So when you show them the cash value, you say, this is what you have access to. Now, the reasons that's good, and here comes the reason I need you to understand too, is that if I have cash value, okay, and a policy is on Carol, so if she dies, John gets $100,000. If John dies, first, all she has to do is cash in the policy. Now she can bury him. Sometimes I use this policy for 2 people. Either one dies, but they have to live. You know what I'm saying? So it works sometimes, and there's a lot of scenarios that you guys have to be inventive in. That's all I can tell you. You got to become a Mozart of life insurance sales, or a Picasso, you know what I mean? Whoever painted a Picasso. At the end of the day, we went through the illustration. We know that there's about $500 to $1,000 left. We are ready to rock and roll and say, look, here's at the end of the day, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, Carol and John, we have about $500, repeat it, to $1,000 left a month. Plus, if you added in the fact that extras cash that you spend a month, there's an extra $100 there. I'm not trying to change your lifestyle. I want this to fit into your budget. I want you to be able to go to sleep at night without having to worry about this being a bill. And I want you to realize that it's not a bill. It's a future investment for both of you. One way or the other, you're getting this money back, okay? Now, one of you may not be around to enjoy it, but on the flip side, if one of you dies before the other and it's on you, like I told you, Carol, if that policy's on you and John dies before you, you're able to collect the cash value out of it. So you could, in 10 years, collect something of $10,000, $15,000 when he passes and you don't have to pay it. So now we have the $100, and then there was a savings of $200. Now, instead of using the savings account to try to save money, I want you to influence them to use the $200 to save it. So that $200,
Thank you.
we have the money. There's no doubt that you guys can afford this, okay? But I need you to understand without fear that this is vital, and you need to go back through some things.
How much she
Guys, mute.
What did she start? I made her make her call.
All right, I muted her. Okay, I'm going to review now. I'm sorry, you got to go back, or it doesn't work. Now, Miss Carol, you have $2,000 a month coming in. John, you have $1,000. That's for your Social Security alone. Now, John, if you pass away, Carol's just going to keep hers. But if Carol passes away, she's going to receive your Social Security. Now, here's the problem with that. You guys need to write this part down. Here's the problem with that. The wait has been notorious to take 6 to 12 months. So Carol's going to be left with, or John, you're going to be left with $1,000 a month for 6 to 12 months. And it is that bad. Now, sometimes it happens very quickly, but God forbid it happens like in 12 months. You have $1,000. Sure, you got your pension, that's $3,000, but your bills are, how much did we say the bills were? $3,150 a month. The reason I say to keep it there is because of this, that if in the future when inflation hits, okay, that number is going to look the same to one individual because of inflation. Now that number now in 10 years could possibly look the same for them to have to spend. And people miss this a lot. If they don't want to change their lifestyle and they want to live a great lifestyle, then they better get on the ball with this. If they don't give a shit, then let's get them covered and let's get them out the door. But we have the ability to know a couple things now. One, we know that they have money coming in. We know that there's plenty of money to spend on this investment. Now we have to convince them of the investment opportunity. Even if you have to go into final expense life insurance at a mortgage protection deal, I work my way backwards from the best to the worst. So I'm going to qualify them. Let me just get you qualified here and see what I can do for you price-wise, and then I'll go over the numbers with you, okay? Thank you for hanging in there. John, you have any major health issues or anything like that going on? You know, heart attack or cancer in the past 4 or 5 years? And medications. You know medication? Yeah, you know what? It'd be a possibility you could grab the medication. When you grab the medication, I need you to write them down. If you don't know what they are, use Google. Google them and find out what they're used for. Ask them and sometimes fail. Ask Google and you usually get the right answer. Now, most people know what they're on, okay? And have them be honest, too, about this. Getting LSW is not an easy process. And by the way, just so you're aware, if you start selling that particular product, it could be 2 weeks to 2 months before the policies go through and issued, okay? Especially if they're going through the Veterans Office to get policies issued or get doctor's information through the vet's office. It's ridiculous, but it does pay and it does sell. So in between this, you need to have your lead flow look like this. I'm going to stop here for a second and get you on a lead flow. I need you to have 20 leads 2 times a month of final expense. The rest of the weeks you can have mortgage protection. There's B leads out there of mortgage protection that you can run, but I also have the flow of new leads coming in, which are $47 for each one. I might get 5 to 12 of those a week. You got 10 days to pay that. So it means they give you time to go out and sell. If you get on a regular schedule of mortgage protection leads, they give you 10 days to get the money back to them. Now, I have this set up to do this sale here, and you know, from this point here, it is about finding whether they qualify, what they qualify for, and showing them the numbers and options, 3 of them. Well, it's my last gig for this, and I can't really do much more until I get questions or I'm in a home, unless I keep inventing. This is a good way to see this, and if this is repetitive, you'll get it. Trust me, it has to be repetitive. So the first one, pay the whole house off, all right? Pay it all off. Number 2, we're going to pay the midsection off. This is 15 years. Number 3, we're going to leave 5 years on, and we're going to say, God forbid, if anything happened within 5 or 10 years even, that the back end would be paid off. Okay, I sell a lot on this. Selling the fact that it's $25,000 is left, that's all you need, you know, and that one fits into the budget. So the first one may be $300 a month. But the second one's $150, or let's say it's let's say it's $200. Let's say this is $100. You could sell $100 that's in their budget. You know what I mean? You know what they have, but they also talk investment. Now look, if I do 300, look at the cash value difference between 300 and this. So I have to remember, one of you is going to be left with either the cash value and one of you is going to be left with the death benefit. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry, I need to do this on the higher of the two incomes. So Carol, you're the most likely person that we would put this on, but how do you guys feel about that? Would you rather have a look on what it costs for both you to do this program and maybe take care of the back end, or even the beginning or middle? Or would you rather just take a look at Carol since she has the higher of the two incomes? Well, let's take a look at Carol instead, and that sounds good. John has $10,000 on him to bury. Carol can maybe sell the house, get the equity out of it. Number two thing that we're selling on, very important right here, very important, is that you sell on the time that they need to sell the house for the equity in the home. Extremely important. Guys, listen, more homes today are being lost due to the fact that the individuals thought that the money that they were receiving was more than they don't know. How much of that pension does he get? John will get 50% of her pension or zero, 9 times out of 10. For her pension at $500, it's probably nothing he'll receive. The lower numbers usually end up nothing. I don't know why, but that's just how it works. So at the end of the day, they're squashed. Their bills are $3,000 a month. I don't care what they tell you. In 10, 15 years, that's what their bills are going to be for a single person to live in that home, unless they degrade themselves almost in their living habits. I mean, we're talking hermit style, you know what I'm saying? So we have to get them to understand the fact is that they are going to need $3,000 a month to survive 10, 15 years from now. And we want to protect them in their older years. You never know what your situation may be. I hope, God forbid, you're in a wheelchair or you're hurt, you're injured, critical ill. You know, you need this extra money. Its bottom line is, look, guys, when somebody says that they're able to get you 7% interest to 12.5%, you jump on it. You know what I mean? That's what today's market tells you. So we have the ability to take care of them. We have $100 a month, $200 and $300. Do not be afraid to show the larger numbers. However, sell the product. You got to sell the product, man. Remember, it has living benefits. These living benefits come out. I mean, if you had a heart attack, you know, Carol, this 100,000 becomes yours. Now, the 100,000 that I explained is probably the mid part. The 200,000 is the upfront. That's the 300, and then 25,000 is the last end, or 50,000. So the illustration can be done in front of them again, or you could have brought the illustration to them. If you need extra illustrations, don't be afraid to ask. Hey, guys, do you have a computer? Yeah. Does it have a printer? All right, listen, it's very important. I'm going to send something to my email. Can I print it up? And I'll pay you for the ink too, by the way. You got to make moves like you ain't never made before to make the big sales. All right. Now, making smaller sales and final expense is quite simple. It's the same strategy. I mean, smaller sales, 9 times out of 10, it's usually small. But I sell a lot of final expense sometimes too, because if I can't get this in, they're just one smidge away from getting this, I can always get them final expense. And I've sold graded products too. But remember which products to sell that pay you full commission on graded too, you know. Find these things out, call your carriers, learn all you can about the products, become knowledgeable about the products. Your other advice would be this, is if you don't like to sell the way I do, using a whole life product with cash value, there's the term process. You just got to learn it, because I've never used it. I don't know. I tried it my first day selling mortgage protection, and I just felt like, what? You know, and the guy had me beat out by 100 grand. It's like this company gave it for $15 a month or something. So, you know, I couldn't get it to him because it was 75. And that shocked me, because I'm like going term to term. Because remember, if they're working, they're going to have this term product that you have to go against. So when you bring a whole life product and it shows cash value for retirement, it's great. Now show them what overfunding would do. If they add an extra $500 a month to this damn thing, the interest would take them, let's say if they're paying $100 a month for LSW's product, or index universal life of any sort with high interest levels, that they would get to a point that in 10 years, maybe there's $10,000 in there, 15. Let's say it's 15 grand. Now, if they put $500 a month in there, what is it going to be? It's going to be 4 or 5 times more. You know, so we have 15 times 4 is 20. That's $60,000 in 10 years. Now you push that 30 years with compounding interest, things like that. I think I'm close to right. At the end of the day, here's the bottom line, is that you are, yes, you at the very beginning when you walk through that door, you are the presence of what they're going to judge you on in some senses, visually. People are visual. Now, they're also audio. Use the audio. Get them involved in audio and then visual. Get their eyes away from you, into your voice, and on the paper. Okay? That's where you become an artist in sales. Now, no longer are they sitting around staring at you. They're staring at the facts. Here's the facts. They cannot be denied. The numbers make sense. At the end of the day, you have the money to be able to afford to pay this house off tomorrow, Carol. Now, the question is that can he survive without your income? Let's say he has to go a year. He only has $1,000 bucks. The problem I have with that is there's already $25,000 in equity. Remember, there's already 25 grand in equity. We went over that in the beginning. You lose that 25 grand if he can't afford this place. You know, and don't let them say stupid things to you. Oh, he could sell a house in no time. Hey, by the way, is he on the hunt? Yes, great. Because if he's not, he has to reapply for a mortgage himself. I tell people this at the end too. Let's say Mom Carol has a daughter, and I want you to know that too. So, by the way, I want you to ask this question also, because it gets them feeling the heart in all the things that they're going to screw up for people if they love their children. If God forbid both you, John and Carol, were to pass away, and I use their names, so it's reality now, John and Carol, or when you pass away, I should say, who would inherit everything? Who gets everything? Oh, our daughter. Okay, great. So another reason to get this on paper, but right now let's just stick to you two. So John, here's what I suggest that you do. Most of my clients, since your age, you're 60-something years old, you're still working. Carol, no. Retired, no. Are you working on a side or anything is what I meant? No, I'm not. It's all we collect is that. Okay, great. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a look at mainly paying the mid part off. You guys got 10 years in you, right? Yeah, that'll help your budget out. You know, $150, $200 a month is in your budget. You know, it's not a big deal. So, you know, and plus, right, how about this? It comes with cash value and it also has living benefits. This is going to work out fantastic for both of you. I'll tell you that. And by the way, let's also take a look at what it may cost for John to have us on to. But Carol, right as of now, let's get this here. We'll do this one here. Did you hear what I just said? I said we'll do this one here. You know what I mean? I told him which one I'm doing. Now, you guys agree with that? I mean, that fits in your budget, right? Guess I'm shaking my head, guys, up and down. That fits in your budget, right? And then at the same time, they may come back and say, you know what? Yeah, it does. It does. Now, if they want the larger one, they want to pay it up front, then we'll get there. Now, what I need you to do is I need you to get this paperwork right. Now, while you're talking, by the way, you're doing the paperwork. You're assuming the sale at this point. I need you to remember those words, assuming the sale. How vital is that? It's extremely vital. It's one of the most important moves that you make. It's a ballsy move. It's a cocky move. It takes something out of you sometimes that you may thought that you didn't have in you, and you need to get that out of you, which is the ability to assume the sale. Don't think for them. Oh, they don't want it. If you think for even people get confused when to pull the trigger. Well, I'm teaching you when to pull the trigger. It's after you gave the options, qualified first, and then options. So option number 2 fits in their budget perfectly. It's $200 a month, plus it's an investment. You showed them the cash flow, you showed them the living benefits. If it isn't this product and it's something else, do the same thing. Okay? Same thing, man. If they need it, look, for this amount, by the way, what is it, $100,000 for this $200, that you may want to compare it to the GUL Mutual of Omaha. If it's just death benefit they're really worried about, not cash value, you may want to do a comparison. Sometimes it's less and sometimes it's more. But you'll have the ability to do that on your phone with GUL, and then with the LSW illustrations. I have not personally found an app. I don't know if anybody knows if there's an LSW app like there is for Mutual of Omaha, American Amicable, and Gerber, and things like that. You know, those products, by the way, is basically all I sell. Gerber, Mutual of Omaha, National Group Life, LSW, and American Amicable every once in a while. That's it, honestly. Now, for you, those of you that have Transamerica for the COPD thing, that's great. They have also an IUL. Also, you don't really need it with the ones that we have, but they do. I think that's a separate licensing and contracting. Okay, look, that is the entire deal. To be honest with you, you assume the sale. Now, getting all the paperwork done. Do it, man. Make sure it's right. Highlight it if you need to. Take your time. You guys are in a study position now, which means you need to study the hell out of this stuff. But don't be like me and study the apps while you're going through them with the client. That's how I learned the first time. Because I'm always trying to make money, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to stay in the field. So at the end of the day, just look at it. Have LSW, have Mutual of Omaha, have American Amicable, have Gerber teach you these things. Have them go over this stuff with you. If you have a problem inside the house and you don't understand something, call the carrier. Call the carrier. Don't call your upline. Call the carrier. If you want to send a text to GroupMe and all you be involved in that, fine and dandy. We're getting a text to GroupMe. Now, we also knew that if they would have said that they had a stock-based product, I want to go over something, that they have a stock-based product, it's a 401k. There's two ways that I can sell on this. I can use the money that's in there, or I can use them a premium, meaning that they buy a product. I usually want both. So sell the product first, take a look at this second. If you think that the premium's too much and you're losing the sale for any reason, they're not going to buy, you're going to take the money that's in that 401k and you're going to turn it into an indexed annuity that becomes life insurance. No downside. Here's all you need to say. How would you like to participate in a product that has no downsides to the market, only participates in the upsides, has an average of about 8% on it annually, and has an illustration to prove it, meaning if you were with them for the last 10, 20 years, it's going to show you what you would earn. How about this? I'm going to do this for you guys. I'm going to do an illustration for you. I'm going to show you what this thing is worth. This is what everybody's doing, by the way. Nobody does 401ks. God forbid you lose 30% in the market, you're going to be cremated. You don't have enough time to get it all back. So what we're going to do is take an illustration. You have a computer? I have a computer. If I don't, you have a computer. If you don't, get it emailed to you, show them it on your phone. Go to the non-guaranteed, show them the illustration. In 10 years, you will have doubled their numbers, period. All right, I am going to stop speaking for a minute. I want people to ask me questions if you're real and you need help. If you have an objection that you're getting stumped on, if you're in a home, you don't know when to pull the trigger, if we have any products that you may have questions on. At the end of the day, here's the deal. You're going to have the ability to make a lot more money if you listen to this over and over again. I did this for you as an illustration to let you see what it's kind of like in the home for me. And me and Alyssa have decided to buy a camera and then get permission from the client to be able to record me inside the home talking about options. I speak about options. That's it. I don't even sell on product. I don't, 9 times out of 10, I don't even talk about the name of the company. It never even comes up. All they care about what's inside the thing. And you guys have to get used to that. What are you giving these people? Do you even know? Because it's important. Here, I'm going to write some. Read that. Ah, shit. It was sent privately. I need to, hold on, guys. Give me 1 second. I sent that privately. It goes to everybody. Okay, read that, everybody. What would you say if someone says they need to think about it? Janice. Janice, you there?
Yes, yes, I'm here.
I want to throw you in the mix, girl. Please help me out with this. What would you say if somebody said that they have to think about this? The whole entire illustration. You just spent an hour with them. Any ideas?
I would just ask them, seriously, what is there to think about?
Yeah.
I mean, we spent this time, and I explained to you exactly what your situation would be should Carol pass away. You being the lower Social Security recipient, you're getting only $1,000 a month. You wouldn't be able to afford the home. You would lose the equity automatically in the home because chances are you can't afford it, so you would lose the home and the equity. And then I would play on the fact with their kids, if they have children or grandchildren. What are you going to leave your kids? Are you going to leave them stuck with your, with your bills, or helping the surviving spouse to survive?
The other and asking these questions is literally trying to get the answer too. So he's not just asking it as she's telling; she's actually getting answers. And the objection isn't the real objection. The objection comes down to money and the belief or enough trust in you to write this. People are like, sometimes they're just like, you just walk through my door. Guys, I'm going to tell you something. Have representation with you, meaning not just your business card. Show something. Put a tag around your neck. Tell them that you're a piece of every company out there. Let them know that you represent them as a broker. Remember, Mrs. Jones, you asked me to come here, okay? And I brought all this material with me. It all makes sense. You have enough money. Here's who doesn't have enough money, is John. He's going to be the one that suffers, not your finances next month, because your finances next month are going to collect 7% interest. You know what I'm saying? Very important stuff. And that was great, Janice. That was perfect. That was good.
And one other thing, Jason, I know what has worked for me before, and it doesn't work with everybody, so you have to know who you're dealing with. But if you have a situation, or you have a partner that had a situation where there was a bad case where a person didn't get the information. For instance, there was a situation where a couple had the insurance, they changed their bank, and then, the agent was chasing them down for about a month or two to get them to do the paperwork in order to continue to get to keep their policy. Well, their policy lapsed. And unfortunately, what happened, the husband was in a car accident.
Okay.
And he ended up dying. And they had 3 small boys.
Right.
They had purchased a new home. They paid the car insurance, but they didn't pay the life insurance. So the wife calls the agent after the husband gets killed. She remembers about the policy, but there was nothing that they could do because the policy had lapsed. and they didn't pay for it. So she was left with 3 small boys. She didn't work outside the home, and they couldn't afford the new house that they had. And all the children were under 10 years old. So these are things that actually do happen.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And, you know, bringing up a story like that can be very helpful. And if it's close to home, bring up, you know, how can we illustrate this better? I'm asking, do you think that if we showed pictures on the front of your binders, putting pictures of actual funerals, a man over his wife's coffin or vice versa, they have them on Google. And I'm telling you, when you see these, Google funeral photos, images, and look at these things, it's like, holy cow, I mean, this is reality. This is why I do my job, and I'm so damn pushy with people in the smartest way possible. And I don't mean pushy in a cocky way, guys. I mean pushy way in the smartest way possible, where everything I'm doing is well controlled and it's under the influence of help. That's it. At the end of the day, you're there because you are the doctor's office that they need. You're the cure to the cold. And if they don't work with you, they're going to have a cold for the rest of their life, and it's going to be a problem. Nobody has it all taken care of. No one. Okay, I don't care what they tell you. Nobody. Because one, they may have too many stock-based products. Number two, they might not have enough life insurance. Number three, they might have nothing, completely nothing. You know, and I'm going to tell you, just when you pull up to the trailer parks, by the way, be thrilled. You know, be happy. Those are some of the most purchasing life insurance people out there. They just love this stuff in a sense. And maybe it's because it's all that they get to leave behind. You know what I mean? They can't do much more than what they're doing. So people with a lot of land too sometimes have a lot of value behind them. So, you know, talking about the index products too, when I was going to do one more thing was talking about the index products where I was going to reverse role play this in a sense where I change it up a little bit. I'm going to use the index product to be the life insurance and not the premium from the final expense or index or term product. So what we have here is the ability to sell a life insurance or an annuity, either A, on top of that sale, or B, without the sale, the premium sale from the life insurance. They already have the money. Do the illustration, print it out, show them, have information on a theme. You gotta have the stuff in your trunk, guys. Be always ready to sell the Athene annuity product. And depending on a certain age, like I had to do Equitrust the other day, it was better for the option of the man because of his age. He was age 85. So there's a product, and ask them the highest interest rate. They're going to ask you, what do I run? The highest interest rate earning product that they can possibly have. What the hell else do they want out of this is just basically people want to earn a lot of money, man. That's what they're trying to do with safety. It has a safety net. So if they're a tightrope walker, they fall, they get grabbed up, and they get to go up the ladder again and walk the tightrope again. So you have to bring this to life. And just like Janice did, she showed them by painting a picture of what it's going to be like when somebody's gone. Tell them, how do you figure, with all due respect, that you're going to survive in 15 years on $2,500? Huh? You can't stay here for that. You're going to lose. Now, remember, this is no longer $25,000 in equity 15 years from now. Your equity at that point, John, is $175,000. Maybe it's 150. However, it looks, doesn't matter. It's above a six-figure, and you're going to need it to retire on, to live out your life. People are living longer, ladies and gentlemen, and they need to understand that. Now, let's tear down 150,000. Let's take it apart. This is very important. This part here helps me sell annuities. If I take what you have in that stock-based product, and it's not settled into a monthly guaranteed income for life, you could overspend this. So you could take from it, or I'm sorry, that's not the, I meant the 401k. Let's say the 401k is 175,000. So the 401k could, number one, the downside could be bad. You could lose $25,000 to $75,000 overnight, and however that's never happened, You never know that your stockbroker might play in something you've never heard of and lose it all. How do you know? You shake hands with him, you eat out with him, do you really know who he is? 9 times out of 10, if they're working, they don't. And if they aren't, they may have a phone conversation with this guy every once in a while. So $175,000 is in there. They have the chances of losses. We participate in the upsides of the market. We don't participate in the downsides of the market. On average, you're between 6 and 8% interest annually. The proof is in the past 20 years in the illustration that they're sending me, John. What we're going to do is take a look at this in the illustration, which every 10 years I automatically know it doubles, which means that this is what, 325,000? Is my math right? I don't know if my math is right. Long story short, it doubles. Is that 350,000? So 325,000, 350,000, 10 years from now. You don't touch it. Now, if you want, you get 10%. Meaning next year, when this grows at this mark, show them the next year's mark on the illustration. It'll probably be a little higher. In fact, when they put it in, sometimes they give them a bonus. So they might start at 179,000, and that becomes a new death benefit too. The taxation on this particular product is less. Now, is anybody on here that can explain taxation on annuities? Does anybody understand that at all? Taxed on interest? John Trice, do you know anything about that?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, what do you want to know?
I'd like to just teach these guys what the tax consequences may be. Even if you know tax consequences versus like a 401k if it was inherited versus the inheritance of a annuity.
Well, it depends upon the settlement option for the survivor, but the survivor can actually take it over time. So minimize taxes versus a lump sum if they want to. If they need money out of the annuity, I'm talking about the annuity owner. A lot of that is the return of their money, the money that they put in. But it grows tax deferred, which means basically compared to a CD, let's say, every time you earn money in a CD, you get a 1099. So you're paying money on interest. And so that lowers what you're going to have long term. So if you're in a particular tax bracket, and let's just say, for argument's sake, your CD made 5%. I know they don't, but let's just say they did. You might only net 3.5 or 4% because you've got to pay taxes on that. And then, so it loses compounding, as they say. Then what an annuity does is
because that's an important part of the 401k that people could bring up, because the average 401k, would you agree, is about 4% from what I see, and it may be even less, that they could tear that down by stating that if you don't get in a higher interest earning product, you're not really earning 4%. You're actually earning 2% because of the taxation on it. Would you agree or disagree, John?
Well, yeah, because you've got to figure that the money that's credited to your account, whether it's a 401k or any tax deferred, is the gross. You don't know what the net is until you start pulling money out.
Right.
The advantage of an annuity is that you know what the money is going to be in certain annuities. You can actually have a fixed rate if you actually want one. But one thing you're certain of is that you're not going to lose money. You can't say that in a 401k.
No, right.
So
what I do is in the integrations in the home, you can have the carrier on the phone with them, and they can tell you what points they'll be earning what kind of money if it looks a certain way. So in a 10-year look, if I ask the carrier at $325,000 in 10 years, if they decide to turn the income rider on at that point, what would it be? Is it $2,000 for the rest of their lives compared to this thing up here, which is the 401k, which is the possibilities of losses, taxations, things like that. You're only paying on the seed here, not the harvest. So that's one of the things I do inside John too, is to teach them that income is for life. Like the other one is not guaranteed for life. This one is. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Because just in your typical 401k, let's say a person needed $1,000, $2,000 a month. Well, if the market goes down like it did in 2008, 2009, that could shorten your 401k by 7 or 8 years because you're selling at the market low. That's something they need to think about, because you can always ask them, well, what's the market going to be 10 years from now? And they'll look at you and say, I don't know. No one knows. No one knows.
You guys need to remember that question, man. You really do, because it's powerful and it put them in a position to answer it. And once they've answered that particular question, he set them up basically, and that was perfect. So, you know, what we have to do as the professionals here is coach them to survival, meaning surviving the rest of their lives. Your job is to get on the paper, pen right in front of them, pull a whiteboard out if you have to, but show them the opportunity of surviving for the rest of their lives compared to the losses that are almost guaranteed if you look at history. John, all anybody has to do is look at the past, and if they think for 1 second it's not going to happen again, they're lying to themselves. You know?
Can I ask you a question, Jason?
Shoot.
I just thought about something. And John, I think John and John Melvin, John Trice and John Melvin can vouch, because I think they saw the Index Universal live presentation that my group, the Titan Groups, showed. But I know that you're using IULs as the mortgage protection, and I know how you're doing your presentation, because you are doing a presentation. Have you thought about actually showing them the Index Universal product presentation first? Because everyone that I've ever shown the presentation to, whether or not they got it or not, they like what they saw, what the product can actually do. And I mean, you have the illustrations that you say that you do 3 on each one of them. But have you ever considered doing the actual Index Universal product presentation?
You're in a slideshow?
Yes.
Well, sure.
I mean, you said that in most cases you're in their house, what, 2 hours? It wouldn't take you, but you can downsize it. It could take you probably about 30 or 40 minutes to actually show them a presentation.
Janice, I don't even have a laptop. You understand? A year and a half ago, I just moved to Florida.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
That's why now I'm in a position to buy one. She's been dying for this Apple, and we swore to ourselves by goal orientation that if we hit $40,000 in a month, that we would purchase it. I'm on track to do that this month. If all things fall into place, I'll do $40,000 a month. I also wanted to do number 2. I wanted to prove that it was possible for anybody in this industry, in our team, to hit $40,000 in a month. And I'm still not going to fight too bad. You know, I'm not going to beat myself up if I hit 30. You know what I mean? But 40 was the goal. So at the end of the day, she's got it already. I'm going to get her for it. But that was why, Janice, and I am a true believer. I don't even know what you're talking about. Is there any way I could pull it up someday? I can share the screen if somebody could send it to me. But I'll take a look at it. But here's at the end of the day, I told you this, and you have to understand this, and you do by just saying that, is you have to sell the product. If you do it that way, you're manipulating the situation to bring out their endorphins to see what and how this product works inside. So that's perfect. But always remember to do the numbers too. You know, but how I may reverse this after I have this in front of me. You understand, I was forced to create something without that. If I have that in front of me, who knows what I could do? This whole thing that I may be doing, well, it'll flow with it. I could probably do a slideshow and kind of work this in there somehow. This is how I do it sometimes. I'll tell you what, I was training somebody the other day, and Alyssa and I were sitting at the table, and I had a guy that was very know-it-all-ish, man. This guy just knew everything. He was 60-ish, 60, and she was 65. She was, I think she was 79, his wife. There's a huge difference in age. You know what I mean? This guy's still working. No, he's 50-something years old. And I think she's 75 is what it was. 55, 75, something like that. So it's a huge gap. But this guy knew it all. And at this point, number one, I'm there with a trainee, which makes the atmosphere a little different, by the way. So if you're ever training reps, you know that the atmosphere can change inside. People are telling their information to, like, you know, more people now. It's not, they don't like doing that sometimes. But at the end of the day, I didn't go over the illustration here. I didn't go over all the bills. I didn't do it. I just knew that we needed to get the numbers out, and it would be a battle of the wits here. His product has this. His product has this. They know that they have this coming in. He has $600,000 in term life insurance. He'd be interested in replacing one for $150,000 that dies out in 3 years. So, and this guy's all into term. Like, I can't even convince him. He's such an imbecile that he can't even get his head around what I'm trying to teach him, because he has to beat on his chest. And those people are the kind of people that you have to be aware of sometimes. Those are not the sales all the time, but sometimes the toughest son of a guns out there are your best sales. They're the highest premium sales I've ever made, were the toughest situations, in case where I had to juggle a lot of things. But the highest sales that I've ever made are always with life insurance already on the table that I can take off the table. Biggest policies I've ever written are always with policies off the table, except for the week where I did all that money there. And that was actually a lot of graded products too. I did final expense. He couldn't get the index products, and I wrote him 5 different policies. And then I wrote, I was in 3 homes, 5 sales. 3 homes, 5 sales, okay, to do those numbers. 3 homes, 5 sales. And so final expense works too, if you can find the need. You got to remember that word, the need. What is the actual need here? Who needs it, and for what, and when? So that's what you're kind of study. You study them on that. Who needs it, for what, and for when? Is it replacement of income? Is it to sell the house? Big question I missed in this orientation here that I was doing was this: is, Carol, would you stay in this house if John was no longer here? Now, you got a 3,000 square foot home and you have an older person. No, I'd probably move back up north. You'd be surprised on how many heads turn together because the other individual didn't even know that. So now you're merging them in a position. That's great to happen, by the way. That means that you found something that each one of them didn't know about each other. And that puts them in a position to say, oh, shit, maybe we really don't know each other and our needs too well. Let's take a look at this more, you know? Any other questions? But Janice, yes, great. I'd love to see that, and maybe we can get that on here. And if I had an LSW layout, a slideshow, you know, if it's good, it would be awesome to have. I'd love to see it. So send it to me, whoever has it, John or anybody, and I'll do that. Or show me how to get it anyway. Now, anybody on here have any questions about anything else? Really, like next week, you all going out to make $10,000 if there's no question. And because every week I'm going to be a cocky son of a gun and say that to you. When there's no, and by next week, if everybody's new or everybody's busy doing something else, that's cool. But listen, sometimes I need you to ask me questions if I'm going to get the information to you. Can't guess my way to your needs either. So I want you to ask me questions in a way where I can answer them from a point that we have you next week doing your first $5,000 week, then 10, and then repeatedly 10, and then 20, and then selling annuities, and then growth, and then we're going to get into more advanced training to really focus in on how to get larger numbers out of, like real big numbers out of people. And then also how to hire somebody to get you out of the field. Guys, the whole goal in my business is to get out of the field I like it now, and there might be in a position to do that right now, is get out of the field and just run the company, but I choose not to anyway. But look, at the end of the day, here's the deal, is to get a company, an agency molded. And I'm going to tell you, this is my last agency. I built 5 in a 5-year period. And each one I've had to walk away from different financial reasons. And you got to be careful on your partnerships too. You know what I mean? You got to be careful on who you work with. And my decisions are always based on a handshake. I always get screwed in the end. So I don't do that anymore. It's all written. But make sure you always write it down, get it signed, guys. So, you know, what we should do is go over how to hire people, how to get them trained. Doing this and doing this more often would be one. Number 2, I recorded every one. Number 3, I am doing a DVD set. I'm going to sit, and if it's okay with you, John, if it's okay to I'm going to get a larger whiteboard, and I'm going to just take this shit down and I'll put that up. And if she's mad at me, I'll slide it back. I'll do whatever it takes, or I'll put it on this wall, something. I'll figure it out. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have a whiteboard. I'm going to have me. I'm going to have the knowledge, and I'm going to take it step by step through each individual process. And I'm going to get people to put in DVD 1, and that's how to present the telephone script, how to present the telephone call, how to sell final expense life insurance, how to make the final expense life insurance, set up the appointment. You know, is anybody having trouble getting into homes? Like everybody gets into 10, 20 homes. Now, let me ask you something. If some of you are new to the company, we haven't done contracting and everything, and anybody that is out there that is injured is okay too. No, then. So I hope you heal soon, buddy. And you know, anybody else that's out in the field needs to get the lead orders in. Please listen to me. Take the shot, man. Don't pay the rent this month. Get your knowledge first. Always get the knowledge, and then you have the power. Get the knowledge. Practice at your own table. Practice this stuff. Get it down pat, man. Practice it in your head. Think about what you're going to walk into. And be ready for anything, too. But have the ability to pull it back to a simplicity of this. You know what's coming in. You know what's going out. You know what somebody's going to be left with. You know the debt that the individual, one, will be left with. And you know that the numbers make sense because they don't have enough. And Janice, if you show them the product, too, and add that value in, which is something I just told you about, was selling the car. I mean, I'm selling this product off of the booklet that says, hey, here's your chronic illness, here's your critical injury, you know, and you got 24 months, you get the money here, and that's it. So if I had more power to present, it'd be awesome, it'd be great. So yeah, I need that. Let me see, guys, here's something here. John Medwin, how do we move forward? We are doing contracting, and because of the states that you guys are in, I have to do the licensing for Alyssa in those states. All you guys are going to be under Alyssa. I'm just going to become a sales coach for the team eventually, okay? And I'm going to travel and build you agencies. We're going to come in. We're going to get your people trained up. And that's my dream, just to do that, to be honest with you. So what we're going to do is get you contracted with the carriers we can, the ones that you already have, or the ones that we have that you can get under. Otherwise, I don't know who you have. I'd have to talk to you, John. So I'm going to put my telephone number here. And on Monday, I guess we need to talk. And you're with John Trice, right? Here's my number, everybody. Take that down, put it in your phone. Oh, shit, I went to Janice. I don't know why it's just going to one person. Here's my number again. Okay, so did everyone get contracting last week? I did not get contracting. Can we meet on this? Okay, let me answer this question for Janice. Did everyone get contracted last week? Some have started contracting, Janice, and it's the order we have to go in. So I have to get the upline in, and we have to get Alyssa into the states that the upline was in. and get all the states, and then that took a second, and then go from there is down here, and we got to get the upline contracted, and then from there we have to get you contracted. Many have met Alyssa before. She walks past like behind me. Alyssa takes care of, she is very wise in product knowledge. She talks to the carriers every single day that they're open, 6-7 times a day sometimes. I mean, I swear to you, this woman's all over this stuff. Do you have scripts? Scripts for what? Janice.
I was asking about scripts for when you make whoever makes, because I'm assuming Alyssa makes the phone calls to set up the appointment.
Like if you ever, the training changes all the time, and maybe I should put a criteria together on what we're going to do and when we're going to do it, so you guys have it. But real quickly, maybe I'll throw in all the time, every time, the scripts. So it's a repetitive thing that I can go over real quick. Like, hi, Mrs. Jones. My name's Jason. I'm doing a follow-up call to a call you received yesterday about that final expense information. I'm the guy that handles your area. I'll be in your area tomorrow at 2 p.m. I don't need you and Mr. Jones to be there tomorrow at 2 p.m. Is that good? So I've said 2 p.m. twice. And okay, great. You're at 2 Mockingbird Lane. Great. Again, we're going to meet you at 2 p.m. I said 3 times. And you and Mr. Jones will be there together, right? Yes. Okay. Well, so I'm going to be there at 2 p.m. I'm meeting you and Mr. Jones. Fantastic. And what time did we say again, Mrs. Jones? 2 p.m. Can you write that down? I'm going to put that in my book. It says that we're meeting tomorrow, Tuesday, 2 p.m. And if you could do the same with me, that'd be great. I said it 5 times. There's no way you can miss that appointment. And I did that in, 30 seconds? That's one script. So you see, that is my script. That's what works for me, Janice. So I can, I don't know if that one's
and also in-home presentation scripts. And this is for new people that we're bringing on that may never have done mortgage protection before.
I'm going to tell you something. Yes was the answer to that, and I have to work on it, because to make it simple is difficult. It's like, how do you lay something out like that? It would have to be so simple to follow, okay? So a Roman numeral 1 here, you do this, do that. But there are so many changes. My fear is that somebody sticks to something like that and doesn't float off and becomes a robot almost in what they do by it be scripted. My preferability, Janice, is that we do more of these and have this twice a week. You have this one, but I'd like to change this one up too, Janice, too. I'm going to tell you why. I would love everybody that's on this to be using Saturday mornings to be setting appointments. So once you get it, you can be on the other one. I know people dig the Saturday morning thing because it's okay for them. So it's an option. Maybe I'll leave it alone. But Janice, Saturday mornings are so vital to setting appointments for Monday and Tuesday. It's unbelievable. And Sunday evening too. You guys want to change your numbers up and you want to be out of the field by Thursday, you do it that way. You like sitting in the afternoon at dinner time? I mean, for God's sakes, get an hour or 2 in today. You know everybody's home. Most of them anyway. You got more chances today. It just works much better for us anyway. And then get out of the field. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm out. If it doesn't work out, Janice, then we set more appointments during the week too. But if you keep your lead flow right and you get if you're doing mortgage protection, all of you have to understand, there's a great amount of B leads, but if that runs out, what do you got? You got your final expense, which Janice are pretty qualified, so you don't have to worry about that. That script I just used says that they're 24 hours old was the last time they were spoken to, and it comes with a recording. But if you got to get a regular territory too, you can't just get B leads, and think that you're going to do what I do all the time. You have to have quality too and quantity. Quality and quantity, quality and quantity. And those two mixtures make a great cake, man. I really do. So I want you guys to again, I've written this down on a whiteboard before. This is an option. This is B leads mortgage protection, 20. Final expense, 20. B leads, 20. Final expense, new ones, 20. Invest the money. Stop being so intimidated by your abilities in the home, and get marketing into your company. Push the marketing forward, and then you'll be able to push yourself into a position to become the expert by being in enough situations. Do it speedily. Get in the house. Get taught. Be self-taught. Be self-motivated. Be self-taught, and have this also with you. So this is going to be nothing but failure, failure, failure to get successes. And yes, some people will buy, but eventually you'll have 10 appointments. You'll sell 5 instead of setting 10 appointments, selling 2. But you're still in a good place if you sell 2 good quality things, okay? So don't always concern yourself. And always remember this. Always remember. You go 8 in a row, no sales. 2, that's the ones, they're owed to you. The numbers owe it to you. Always remember the numbers owe you, okay? Always happens that way. Never fails. So Janice, we'll put that together for you too, hon, and for other people too. But I think that me recording this on DVD, Janice, will be a simpler way of getting this material out to people. You know what I mean? If they can also watch that and watch a sales presentation live inside the home too, having that part done, and then having a whiteboard session with me training on each nook and cranny, and then having fellow individuals that want to toss their 2 cents in, you know, and doing this on the webinars too, and we can organize it. And Janice goes out in the field. Like, I'd like to take one of you and really make a project for a week, and have one week where we take Janice, and everybody would be learning, but I would take Janice and focus on your needs. What is Janice's needs for next week? And Janice, if Janice listens to me, she will be in a position, she will buy the 20 leads, she'll buy the other 20 leads, she'll dial the day as I tell her, and we would do like a Wednesday night session or Friday night to get you ready for Saturday morning to set the appointments. And one of the most important parts of this business is that part of it. Don't be afraid of it. They ask for it, so just call them. You know, you'd be surprised. The new mortgage protection leads, by the way, you're going to set the hell out of those. Those people just like, yeah. They're incredible leads. Are they expensive? No, they're not when you're in a business that makes a 6-figure income. $47. I owned a health club, several health clubs, guys. Each one, $2,000 a month in direct mail. I'd get 5,000 pieces, and I'd get a return of 1 to 2%. So do the math. So, but I sold very high numbers, so I was able to survive, you know. And that was my cycle over and over again. So this is cheap compared to that. You know, I don't know about you guys, but how you look at your business, but it is a business. And if you own a McDonald's, you think you're going to dump some cash into it when you start it. So think about being able to start with $200 and then build yourself into a 7-figure income, as I've seen people do. And why aren't we? What's holding us back from doing that? Is it lack of education? Yes. Is it lack of motivation? Sometimes. Is it lack of, you know, financial? I wouldn't use that as an excuse, because that part will kill you. I don't have it. There's been more stories worse than mine, worse than yours, and they are way above us. So no excuse. Just get out there and do it. Find a way to find leads. Ask your upline. Do you have any leads that you used to have years ago in my area? Ask us. We have a 50-50 deal for people that train smartly and do the right thing and can prove that they've actually sold before too. You can get a 50-50 deal. So they will actually set the appointment for you, Janice, and they will get you inside the home. However, you should dial that number too to make sure. Don't just trust that appointment setter did the right deal. It's a 50-50 deal. So when they set those appointments, you give the upline 50 and you keep 50%. However, if you're also purchasing regular leads, That's just extra money. There are guys doing $5,000-$10,000 on that deal alone. They're just doing that, and they're getting appointments set, and they get the overrides too. So they just don't make 10 or 20,000, but appointments are set for you, and it's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity. Any other questions, guys? Because if you could, like, next week, write down all the questions in the world. Make sure that you have some questions that you can ask that we can teach you. If you're in the home, by the way, you're going to get more knowledge on what your needs are. So we have to get you in the house. If you're intimidated by buying leads, don't start saving your nickels and dimes. Do whatever it takes, man. Take a loan out. I don't know. I don't even know how I made it here. I'm so all over the place when I lost these companies. I don't know. It's just fate. It happens. It happens because you just don't quit. I got people that can't set appointments, and they make excuses on quitting, and they are just going to find themselves in a worse position because things are not going well for them now. How's it going to go well for them later when you can do whatever you're doing still and do this in between? You can have a job and still do this. You can go out one day a week. So there's no excuse. Go work somewhere if you don't have money. Make it happen, though, because this is going to pull you out of the gutter. What do we have left here? We have, we have Janice. You want me to do a couple of things. I'm going to need some time on these things to make them right. John, you were, and I already knew I was going to do it anyway, but you had requested that I do a DVD set, which I think is fantastic. If anybody could send me some ideas on what to put inside these DVDs, it would be helpful to get the knowledge from people that are actually learning. And it would help me put the stuff that you actually want to see and hear inside it. Because if I put this stuff together and I'm missing what you may be doing wrong, that didn't help you. You know what I mean? This is about trading information for my history, my past, my knowledge, and giving it to you so you understand this is exactly how it's to be done with a little flavor of your own. You know what I mean? You're different than me. So how you do it is different. But I can all tell you this. You better get very wise with people, meaning you've got to get them wisdom and knowledge. And if you don't, you're going to fail. You got to get some information on the table or do a slideshow. You got to do something. You can't just go in with 3 numbers and say, here, choose. Because at that point, then they are buying you. And you better smell pretty that day, man, because that don't work all the time, How many of you have ever sold this stuff and walked into a place where they actually just said, just sign me up? Now, wouldn't it be great, though, if we could get the call on the spot, man? Be in a position to have that call come right to you and not to the lead companies. That costs some money, but it's not impossible. So there's all kinds of opportunities out there. We also have a call center. So when we're doing new hires, we got new hires that call us, just so you're aware. That'll be a part of the deal that you guys have with me. And John, if you wanted to get involved in that anytime soon, we can do that anytime you're ready to. We can get the call center up and cranked up, and John will have calls coming right to your phone with reps that are seeking careers, or you have to, they know why they're calling you anyway, why they hit button number 1 or number 2. Most of the time. Some of the time they're like, quit calling me, you might be out of the field and they didn't get off the call list. So all we do is write them down and give them back to us, and then we take them off the call list. That's it, guys, for today. That's all I have. I know it was quick. It's fast. It's about repetition, Janice, Mel, John, Odin, and whoever else is listening out there. It's about repetition, and got to repeat it. And the only way I was able to succeed was I burned all my ships. I took the last bit of money I had from $1 million in annuities, $750,000 in annuities. I split with somebody. I made about 50 grand on that deal. I said, we're moving to Florida. I didn't even know if I was going to make it. Thank God I owned companies in this area before, so I knew the area. I planted our asses here, And I said, let's buy final expense leads. And that's all we did, final expense, final expense. And we survived it. And I sold a lot of stuff that way. And I survived it by lead flow. That was very important. That was the very first thing on the bill list was lead flow, leads. It wasn't freaking mortgage, rent, anything else. Nothing else matters without that. You know what I mean? But you have to trust yourself. You have to trust the industry a little bit, man. And if you don't fail a couple times, if you do fail, don't worry about it. You're going to eventually make it up in the long run because the numbers owe you. If you're scared of failure, then you're doomed. I'm just sorry. You got to get out of it. And if there's anything I can do to teach you, because I'm going to be honest with you, I had a stressful time in this business at one time. I went through so many years of not making money that it was like 3 years of just BS. You know what I mean? I got her screaming in my ear, go get a job, go get a job. I worked at Senior Life, Lincoln Heritage, American Income, these 3 companies alone. I made nothing, zero. I made like, I don't know, a few $1,000s. I think one year I made $12,000. And it was the reason is I didn't keep the lead flow coming in. I didn't do it. I depended on 20 leads and I was going to work the hell out of these. And when these were all worked, you know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Keep the lead order in. You buy 20, you're selling 2 to 5. Get the numbers a little clearer. Make them easier on yourself. And then know that you have to get your numbers up inside the house. Just get the premiums up. See less people, or worry less, and make the same amount as anybody else selling 5 to 10 policies. But they got more gas, more mileage, things like that. You know? You understand, Janice? John, noted, Mel.
Yes.
Any other questions, Janice? You fire away, girl. Let's do it.
Not right now. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Anybody else got anything for me? Anybody? Now, if we come back, and we're going to come back, cost of leads are a blend of those leads. So we have different options, Mel, John, which is, you know, there's some $3, there's some $4, $6. There's some dollar leads too. It depends on how old we want them. But the newer stuff starts at $11 for final expense. There's one company that does it for that. It's very slow, not as dependable. No, those are dependable. There's one for $6, I think. It's a little less dependable. $11 and $15. The $15 leads is what I tell everybody to buy from One Life. The final expense, either that or the $11, or blend them, mix them, match them. Come and get 20 of these, put 40 together. What number do you actually need? You need 40 to 60 leads a week. 40 to 60 leads a week. Quit playing around with this thing. Quit playing with the 20 leads a week. Go into it with authority. Come out. Dial the hell out of them. Get through it. The leads have no shelf life, so hand them over. Give them to the reps, if that's your idea, or give them to somebody you know in the business. Or dial the hell out of them a month later. You know what I mean? It still works. So the other leads are $47 for the mortgage protection leads that are brand new. So that means you own the territory. They tumble in as they tumble in. You'll know a count, which will mean that we'll get you some historical count on it. And I'm going to tell you guys something. That's where I think everybody should end up. That's where the money is there. That's where most of the sales are made, and it's been a better deal. I'll sell them all. I mean, I don't. I sell a very small amount of people. You'll notice in my numbers, if I put up my numbers, they're high numbers, but they're small amount of people that I see. So, and I'm sorry, I may see a hell of a lot more of those people. I may go to 5, 10 homes. I may sell 2 to 3, and my numbers are so high that I don't need to worry about it. You know, so that's what I'm trying to teach you. Is like, so if you feel like you're failing, you just know that I always sit back, relax. Alyssa's all tripped out. I'm like, oh, I'm in my brain. The numbers owe me. Walk into the perfect set. 8 cash value life insurance policies, all stacked up for 30 years. They got debt. They like me. It's perfect. I mean, works out good. So get people to know, like, and trust you, and show them that you are, basically a licensed rep. Show them some kind of proof. Show them a coffin. Show them, I don't know what you show them. Just show them that there's things that show them death. Show them the reality of this, and show them the money. And they will become your best friend for life. And that's the game of the game. If anybody wants to see something special next week, then tell me. I'm just thinking about doing this on Wednesday evenings. I'm having trouble doing that though, or some kind of Thursdays may be better, to where I could do these also that night. That way we get more people on it. So I'd like you guys to start inviting people onto this. And remember, we have ZipRecruiter 2, and we have the call center. So there's ways to recruit. I just need about 6 people on the line when we do it, because that's how many calls come in. It dumps in fast. And when they come your way, you need to write fast and get ready for the next call, because they come in very quickly. And that's it for today. If anybody wants this material, I have it in my back office. I'm going to try to tweak it. My kid's in town with his girlfriend. They're sleeping in this other room here. And we're headed to Clearwater Beach. I got till like Tuesday where I'm back to work. This is the first vacation I've taken, and it's not even my vacation because I'm entertaining everybody else on my money. So it's like everywhere they want to go is where I go. And that's cool because it's the way it is. I take the hits for the film, right? But getting back to work won't be till like Monday or Tuesday. However, I'm still doing this. I'm still dilly-daddling with things. To get that stuff together for Janice, I don't know. Give me a week or something, Janice. Just stay on me about it. Remember, you guys aren't the only people coming at me. So sometimes I just need a reminder. John, thank you for putting faith and trust into me and your team also. I won't let you guys down. You don't ever judge the book by its covers, what I tell everybody. So remember that, and stay faithful to yourself, and get your lead orders in, and just put some trust into me by putting trust into you to tell you what to do and when to do it. I say pull the trigger. As soon as we get you John Medwin, who's ready to go, by the way. The kid's hitting me up all the time, John. This dude's ready to rock and roll, and I got to get in contact. So, and I love that.
Jason, can I ask you a quick question about the dialer for recruiting?
Yeah.
Okay, because Janice and Mel and John, and these guys are recruiters. So can we all do that as a team?
Yeah.
So I know John's in North Carolina, so that we could arrange for, I don't know what other states John Medwin's licensed in, but I assume it's probably some of the closer states to him. But could we just sort of direct those calls to John for that area?
Yeah.
And Mel for Vegas and all that?
Is for now, I'd like everybody to be hiring in their backyard. Don't choose any states that are outside of you being in contact with these people in some way, shape, or form. Now, I tell you why. If we build an agency in your area and it happens to explode, I would like to have the ability to fly in, rent the hotel lobby room, and be able to train you guys in a room or at your own brick and mortar office or something in that order. So stay in your territory for now.
Okay.
You can spread it out a little later if you want to go state to state. If you have agents in other states and you're trying to build an agency in that state, that's okay too. You know what I mean? As long as you have somebody you can trust. So, John, that can be started. Let's just finish our contracting, and that's when we'll start it. I got the ability to pull a trigger. I can get everybody set up. No problem there. And in fact, John, I need 6 people on the line. I might be able to do it with 4. 9 times out of 10, they usually want 6 people on the line. So
we got our 6, so that's not a problem.
Okay, great.
We've got more than that when we throw in Cornell and a few others. So I guarantee we've got more than 6. So we're as soon as we get this contracting in, we'll just pull the trigger.
Sorry about the contract. It's just like I didn't have these states, and we're going to have to get those states, and then I'll get what we can do though, John Medwin, is whatever contracting you can get into now is what we need to do. So I'm going to put Alyssa's number up here and And, well, John, do you want to handle this with Alyssa or what? John Trice. You want to work with Alyssa to get your people contracted? Because
yeah, that would, well, we certainly need to have a check just to make sure nobody gets lost in the mix. So, yeah, I don't have any problem with Alyssa talking directly to any of my folks. We're all transparent about how we do things, but I just want to make sure that if somebody's, I've fallen through the mix, believe me, a number of times with different IMOs, and I don't want somebody that really wants to be contracted because Alyssa missed it or I missed it. I want to make sure that we have two eyes on it if possible.
oh shit, did he leave? Damn it. Okay. Yeah, thank you, John, for that, and Janice, and everybody's welcome on to those recruiting calls. Also, I can run ads in your states too for new hires on ZipRecruiter. And I may already have those, but look, I'm only just let's all pull back the reins a little bit, because then that takes away from me recruiting too. So I really want to honor that to somebody that's actually doing something or proving something just as a reward. I'll give you ZipRecruiter, yes, right out of the gates. Maybe you can tell me what you've done in the past, and that'll help me understand that, yes. I can't give it to somebody that's just new and hasn't done any special things in the past and isn't prepared to do new hires, because it's a waste of people. I'm wasting my time. I have to have you guys respect me too and my time as I would do for you. And let's not waste it. Let's make it time that's spent building, time that's spent focused, time that's spent utilizing the time in a way where it's doing a growth factor and it's not just subject to flatlining. You know what I mean? Don't waste each other's time, and let's really build a structured company that has the ability to go anywhere it wants to. Let's get our contract levels up. Let's sell more than the owners of this company, for God's sakes. Let's go blow past these guys. They're 30-something-year-old guys and just like recruit a lot of people. They're not even doing this. And if they can MLM this to the top, imagine with training what you can do. You know what I mean? So that's the plan. There's more training. Actually, I don't know if everybody got this website. I'm going to put this up again. Maybe this will help everybody too. I don't know if everybody has a training. I'm not sure if I have unique writers anymore that I can share that with you. I think I'm still contracted with them. I got to check though. This one here though. If none of you have that, you can use that for training. That is some training on it too, and it has some things you can print up. I think it has leads and things like that. In fact, let me do a quick check for you. It's brokertraining.ibrokersinc.com. Did I put Brokers Inc.? Yeah. Okay, so it's going to ask for your email. I'm not even sure. New member, create your account now, get started. Maybe I already have one with them. Anyway, you'll get to this point. You'll do your login situation here, and I haven't been here in a minute, so I don't remember what I did without looking at it. Long story short, you'll get in here. There it is. So save that. Come down here, learning your products, annuity contracting, insurance bay. This is where you get contracted. Mortgage protection campus, on the phone, in the home, critical ticks, mortgage protection conference calls, boom, boom, boom. Index University Life, Nothing there. Annuities, nothing there. They really should maybe contact me about putting that together, I guess, would be a good idea. Goal setting and your formulas. So there's all kinds of stuff here just for ideas, but for on the phone, let's see, there's the videos here, how to do the dials. This guy was really good. He just recently passed away. This guy was really young and very powerful in the business, and they found him dead in his house due to a heart attack. So I think he was in his 30s. I think that's him here again. So there's a lot of good information with him, I can promise you that. The in-home presentation done here. In-home situation for a solution aircraft. So there's a lot of training on here too, guys, that you can do. There's critical tips, mindset, schedule, things like that. Schedule Joe Burt. Mortgage protection conference calls. You can download this stuff. And there's lead orders here through. This is through Innovative's leads, but here's the schedule lead menu. Facebook, social media generated leads, telemarketing leads, option 1, option 2, direct mail leads. You have mortgage protection leads. You have mail order per 1,000. We have television leads too, guys. So there's all kinds of lead orders. I mean, there's no question can you make money here, man, because the one thing they're good at is the leads now. They're, whether they become a company that makes, and this is welcome to Innovative Insurance Brokers. 2017 is to do over $25 million in life, new premium business. These guys have doubled, so they've been in business like 9 years now. Now they're starting to do the effects of doubling the size every year. That's good for us. We're at the beginning stages of that. We're at the head of the team here, though, at the top of the pyramid. So as the word gets out, so does the ability for us to grow. This is product calls. I think there was a script here. Quote site apps, new agent guide. This is good for everybody. So if you're a new agent, here you go with this. Easy term agent guide, easy UL, some ideas on carriers. Make it a little easier on you guys. I'll print this out again for myself. But that's it. I mean, have fun with that. Hey, everybody, just please go over that for now, and let's know that what is on there. And by next week, maybe we can have a study on that. We can pick something on there. Also, is anybody reading anything special these days? Has anybody got a great book that could entertain us or motivate us or teach us something about this business? Anybody got anything out there? Because I'm going to tell you what I wanted to do. Is I wanted to choose a book, and I wanted to have a little book chat about it. I wanted to choose one that was based upon life insurance sales. So I was going to go to Amazon or something like that and pick a book that may be about life insurance sales. And whether it sucks or not, I won't know until we all read it together. Something like that's going to help us all stay motivated to do so and get a book a month under us. Because that's freaking powerful, man. A book a month, that's incredible. The knowledge you'd have in 1 year would be just like whacked. You think we're smart now. Read a book a month. You know what I'm telling you? And if you don't do that, at least listen to the audio in your car, for God's sakes. And half these books are on YouTube for free. If it's not, go to some site that has them. For $13 a month, you can have any book you want. Guys, that is all for now. Shit, they want me to do a dial session. So I guess I'll do it. Okay, so that's it, guys. John, I have to get on one of these dial sessions for new hires. They need me to fill in the void. I'm one of the guys anyway, but we always need like 6. I'll set that up as soon as contracting's ready. I don't know if you guys, I could start a new webinar or something like that. If you want to see how this stuff works, we could go over that together. But if you get too busy, we can't do it. That's fine. You guys are all welcome for the training. It's my pleasure, honestly. I just, like, guys, do me a favor. I want you all to go do me one favor, one huge favor. I want you all to get me out of the field and get yourselves in the field, and then get yourself out of the field. By getting me out of the field is going to put you in a better position for me to get this training done faster. I'm asking you to do that because that means you're successful now. That's the only way I come out of the field is when each one of you is doing 10 grand a week. Just a little bit of numbers that's on this thing. If you can do 10 grand a week, somehow, some way, that would be incredible. And it allowed me to pour my energy into what is very necessary, as you all know, which is the training and recruiting. And we do that. We all go to whatever level you want to be honest with you. So let's find the energy and the passion again, and let's get passionate about this. Let's get real passionate about it, actually. Let's do next week something special, and every week do something special for one another and yourselves. And God bless you all. That's it for this week, and I will see you all same time, same place next week, and maybe we can do one in the middle of the week by request. If you ever have anything you need me to do, I will do it for you in the middle of the week if I have the time. So just request and ask me to do a webinar if you need it, okay? I want to thank you all for being here, and I'm going to patch out now, okay? Thank you all very much for being here. I may invite you all to the group me that I have, and maybe 2 of them, so you guys can see the numbers, post your numbers, get education. If you need help in a home, put that on group me. There's a lot of educated people that will get right back to you very quickly with the answers you need. Okay, thank you all. Bye-bye.